An Uber driver heroically came to the rescue of a female rider in distress. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, Mark here from UberHints. Before you get started, I'd like to ask if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe to this channel by clicking my face down there in the corner and ring that bell icon so you know when I post new videos. And we're getting on the expressway here, and the guy in front of me is entering a 70-mile-an-hour expressway on-ramp at 50 miles an hour. Drivers, don't do that. All right, let me give you the lowdown, the synopsis of this story. A woman was apparently at an event with a number of her friends, and she was being harassed. A member of this party of her friends, was coming on to her and apparently wasn't taking no for an answer. She thought if she started walking to what apparently he would think was her car, he would leave her alone. He didn't. And so she contacted her Uber driver and texted him and said, "When you arrive, please pretend to be my boyfriend because I'm having some problems with this brute." So the driver says that he pulled over, he took off all his Uber branding, took off his signs, peeled the sticker out of his window, and when he arrived, he waved to her and said, "Hi, honey," or some such thing, and she responded, and he saved the day. And boy, people on the internet are saying, "My hero." Yes, I did take my hands off the wheel. All right. I'm going to give you a few different viewpoints. Please understand that what I'm about to say here are not necessarily all my opinions. There are just a lot of different ways that I think people might perceive this story. The first one, I am taking this with a huge grain of salt. And here's why. The only validation and verification that I have been able to find in this story is the driver's own account. And this sounds to me so much from a male perspective. This really almost sounds to me like a wannabe hero, that I want to be perceived as Sir Galahad that came to the rescue of this helpless female that can't take care of herself. So I'm going to post this story on the internet. And I could be wrong, all right? So don't come down on me too hard. But that's my first impression. I admit it, I'm a cynic, and that's the first thing. My radar went up and I said, yeah, this doesn't ring true to me. I know people. I know that most women can handle themselves. They've grown up, they've gone their whole lives having to shoot guys down, especially guys who are socially awkward. And rarely do they need a man to come charging up on his white steed and save the day. So that alone puts this at a little bit of suspect in my mind. Now, since I'm on that thread, man, who's going to come down on this girl? What about the feminists that want and encourage that type of a strong woman, especially in today's world? What did they say? Last year, two years ago during the election, it was a year of the woman, and women are supposed to be strong. And now we have a story of a woman that, she has to call a man she doesn't even know to come and rescue her, to pull her out of this situation. And I think, I haven't seen it yet, but I can't imagine that there's not going to be that kind of fallout that's going to come down on the part of the woman. Hey, I might be wrong. I was once before. All right, so what's next? Next, I think that this could have gone wrong in so many ways. What if her Uber driver had been me, right? So you get a 23-year-old woman that pulls up, and I'm not saying there are not, May December romances, but in that case, it would probably be more realistic to say, hey, my dad's coming to pick me up, rather than my boyfriend. Can you imagine if I got out of the car and I said, "Hi, honey," and that guy's going to look at her and say, "Yeah, right, that's your boyfriend." All right. What if a woman driver had pulled up? She says, you know, and you're going to say, I know what the comment's going to be. Yeah, but they know who the driver is. They see his picture. How many stories do we hear where other people are using a driver account? We hear that all the time. What happens? We see a lot of drivers who, you know, are not from this country. I've had a lot of drivers who really can't speak the language or can't speak it very well. And that's not to say this woman couldn't have a relationship with someone who's foreign. My mom did. My dad was not from this country. However, I think it could seem a little hinky if some guy comes up and he can't even speak English. Now she's saying, oh yeah, there's my boyfriend that's going to come rescue me. He's supposed to intervene on her behalf. Or like I said, a female driver pulls up. And not that there, again, couldn't be a female-female relationship. I don't think it would have the same impact if she said, my boyfriend's coming to pick me up and Sally gets out of the car. Now, here's the worst thing. Okay, all of those, I've been kind of tongue-in-cheek with a lot of those, right? But what about this? We already know there are men out there that are complete buffoons. They have absolutely no social skills whatsoever. I mean, that's what got her in this situation in the first place, supposedly, if you believe the driver's account of this. What happens if the driver is the same kind of clumsy oaf? What if he sees this, oh, now I can be her hero, and now he starts hitting on her? She could be going from the frying pan right into the fire. And I think that is just, you know, such an unsafe position to put yourself into. I really do believe there are more bad things that could have come from that situation than good things. Now, as it turned out, I guess it was all good. She got away from the guy and they drove off. What if this guy was a real, you know, a real creepy guy, and he thinks that wasn't her boyfriend, gets in his own car and starts following them? Oh. Anyhow, as I said at the beginning, I'm not even sure that I believe this was a true story. I'm not convinced of it. But that's me. Now, let's look at this from a different perspective. What if this was a setup? We know that riders do unscrupulous things, right? They end rides in the middle of the ride. They make up stories to try to get a free ride. They try to create situations. Now, granted, this isn't the average person, but people do this. What if this was a setup and they were simply trying to set up the driver? So now the driver says, hi dear, get in the car honey, and she has this on videotape. Boy, is that going back to the 1980s. She's recording this on her phone or whatever, and then she turns him into Uber and says, my driver was being inappropriate. He was calling me honey and dear and sweetheart, and he was flirting with me, and I felt unsafe. I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility. So, yeah, I just think that this story has so many holes in it and so many ways that it could have been wrong. This is probably the only video that you are going to hear on the story taking it from this perspective. It's so easy to say, what a heroic, great stand-up dude. And hey, maybe he was. If he was, we don't have a whole lot to talk about, do we? But if it was any one of these other situations, I don't know. I think this is quite the interesting story. So, let's see if I get any pings today. I want to thank you for watching me. As always, oh, here we come up against the rollers. We just went down from 70 to 55, and these cops they sit here and pick up people left and right. For those of you in Milwaukee, I am right at Moreland Road coming into the city, coming down I-94. And man, they can nab people like crazy here. So, as always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, ring the bell icon so you know when I post new videos, and leave your comments down below. What do you think? Am I on target, or am I just a trusting individual. I'd love to hear your thoughts, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark with UberHints.